What up YouTube, it's Misery Hates Company, and today we're going to give you the best build for Spider-Man. Now I know a lot of you are going to be like, well wait a minute Misery, you hate Spider-Man. And you're right, I really do hate Spider-Man in this game of Marvel Future Revolution. However, I respect him as a hero, and I also respect that a lot of you like to play him. And I was looking around doing my research because I don't actually play Spider-Man, but I wanted to make sure I did my research to make sure I gave you guys truly the best build prior to making this video. There's not actually an up-to-date build for Spider-Man, so I hope a lot of you find this helpful, and if you do, smash that like button. And if you want to see more builds like this, make sure you smash that sub button so you don't miss out on any of the future videos that I have coming for you. Now, without further ado, Spider-Man is a very unique character. He does a ton of damage, but he also, if built right, is basically impossible to hit. So you sacrifice a little bit of stats in some of these cases for this build, but you don't even need some of the stats because the other stats you're going to use to build off of are going to make it so that you're just untouchable. So without further ado, let's not waste your time. Let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so first things first, what you're going to do when you're leveling your Spider-Man is you're going to go to your enhanced potential. Now in doing so, the first thing you actually want to max out is your dodge rate. So you get dodge rate on Web Warrior number 2, Web Warrior number 3, and then again at 4 you get it, and then of course the new one we got it again at 5. So you want to max out all of your dodge rate, save up all of your enhanced potential, your potential reports, and then just smash it on all your dodge. From there you want to prioritize attack. So we have attack on 5, we have attack again on 3, and I want to say again on 1. Yes, we have attack again on 1. And then after that, so we have dodge, attack, and then after that I want you to go ahead and focus on status effect accuracy, which you get here at 3, 4, and that's it. And then after that you can go to crit damage, health, and the defense one, and that's it. And you can just round it out. You're eventually going to max it all, but those would be the 3 that I would prioritize for this build. So again, that's dodge, attack, and status effect accuracy. Moving on, I want to go ahead and show you guys just ever so quickly talk about our Omega card options. When it comes to Omega cards for Spider-Man, you want 2 sets in particular, especially if you're free to play. That's actually going to be sets 6 and 8. I'll show you why. So set 6 is the one that gives you the 2 set crit damage and then 4 set crit rate. I would just go for the Loki one that gives you crit damage. And then I want to say it's this Thor one that gives you the attack. So use those 2 cards, that gives you the crit damage rate and some really good cards, even in the late game. Like I said, so that's 6 and 8. The other one that we want is, you can find in Sakaar. We want to go ahead and get this one, the Hail Hydra. And the reason is that the 2 set gives you 5.8% dodge rate, which is pretty fantastic. But the attack is beautiful. And then from the other one, we actually can just go ahead and get the Chaos War, which also has attack. I can't remember the other 2 offhand. Defense Pierce is okay, and then HP is a no. So I would definitely get these 2, the Hail Hydra and then the Chaos War. That gives you just a fantastic attack, and then the set would be amazing. You can finish off your Omega War cards because you, of course, can have up to 6 active at one time. This gives you 4 from what the 4 that I'm giving you. Round out with just with whatever you have that either has accuracy effect, attack, crit rate, or crit damage is just totally fine based off what the rest of your build looks like. But these are the 4 cards that I would strongly recommend, especially for my free to play. Obviously pay to play, you'll probably have a special card or 2, and you should just plug those away in there. Next up, let's go ahead and look at the badges. So for the badges, Spider-Man was very well treated at the level 105 level because these badges actually give you plus dodge. So if you built out your Spider-Man with all 105 dodge or 105 battle badges, you would be looking at a pretty healthy amount of dodge rate that you would get from just your badges. Now, if you're not going to get that, you want to look for the blue cores, because the blue cores you can put in dodge, rate, increased stats on those blue cores, and that's obviously what we want to go for in this build. Outside of blue, you're looking for red. That gives you the flat attack, and then of course green would be the 3rd priority, which gives you the crit damage, defense pierce, and stuff like that you also need on this build. But again, that's what you really want to look for in stats would be the attack, crit rate, crit damage, stats effect accuracy, and then some dodge if you can in the 105, or again if you get it from the battle badges from the store. So next up, let's actually look at Spider-Man's gear. There's 3 different gear options I want to review with you. We're going to look at S tier, A tier, and then free to play options. Spider-Man is actually a pretty decent character for a free to play. I think a lot of you know that, which is probably why a lot of my free to play followers do play Spider-Man. But when it comes to this, the first one we want to look at is our special costumes. And Eyes of Osiris is going to be the all-time best S tier. This is for the Omega Whales. And that's just because it gives you flat attack, web shooter mastery skill +6, web shooter class skill +6. Web shooter skills are definitely your best. They net you the highest damage for really fantastic abilities, which we'll get to here in a second. So make sure you watch till the end to watch my skill build that I recommend for this build. But of course, at the S tier, we do have Eye of Osiris for that reason, because you are just double dipping on your best skills there. Next up, we actually would like to have, for the regional options, we would like Sakaar when it comes to Spider-Man, because again, we get the web shooter class at the 4 set, but at the 3 set, you get some really amazing dodge rate, which is fantastic. That dodge rate is going to come in handy. If you don't know, dodge rate cap is 90, and with Spider-Man, you want to get to that very, very quickly. So we have covered the maximum pay to play, what we're going to call the best regional option, and now I want to show you the best free to play option. So if you don't want to get a regional, but you still want to play Spider-Man, the best one we're looking for here is, where is it? Right here, Noir. And that is because it gives you the web shooter mastery skill +6. That is one of your better web shooter skills. So again, don't confuse it for web shooter mastery thinking it's all the skills. This is one very specific skill called web shooter mastery. But this is also fantastic. It gives you the dodge rate as well as the web shooter mastery. So this is a very solid free to play option, but does also net you some very serious stats that you're going to want for your Spider-Man. Next, let's go ahead and look at our skills. Last but not least, of course. So we look at our full skill wheel. First up, we have the last skill on the 3rd option, which is called Spider Swing, Spider Shot. It is a spider combat skill, but is a great opener. I'm sure if you've played this game at all, especially in Dimension Duels and have faced a Spider-Man, you know that most of them open with this, and it's super annoying. But it's a very good skill. It gives you an iframe, and you swing around and then put your sticky webs on them. Next up, we start looking at some of our web shooter skills. This one just does a ton of damage very, very quickly. So it is web shooter mastery, focused web wrap, focused fires webs on a single target to deal 903% damage. This is again not maxed out because I only have it at level 10. Again, I don't play Spider-Man. But this is in fact a fantastic skill, and of course, when you get the the boost from your regional gear or your Omega LOL gear, you're going to double up on this because this is that web shooter mastery skill and a web shooter class skill. So this is definitely one that's going to get that boost from the regional. Next up, we are looking at, and this one I actually want to talk about a little bit, is Webcraft Gyroscope. So it is of course a web shooter class, and it connects webs to a web ball to make a yo-yo, then throws it forward and pulls it back to deal 416% damage. Now, I think this is where a lot of you are going to be like, well, hold on, that's a little bit different than what I've seen before. So some of you are going to be like, well, I usually use the Stadium Slam. I think a lot of you have probably seen this in Dimension Duels, and I want to draw attention to 2 things in this. Well, technically 3, but 2 lead into the other one. So the first thing I want you to look at is the cooldown difference in these skills. So 22-second cooldown versus a 9-second cooldown. All right, that's the first thing. Next thing is the required stamina, 32 to 18, and then lastly the damage, 547 to 416. I do not think that this damage is worth how much you're getting out of over double the cooldown and almost double the stamina requirement. Just not worth it to me. So this is a skill that nets you the same thing. You're losing a little bit of guard break, but that's fine. But it's a much quicker skill. You get the cooldown faster, and you're going to do more damage overall over a longer period of time by using this skill. So that's the reason why I'm picking this over Stadium Slam. Next up is we're looking at, this is where you get just a little bit of AoE damage. This is especially good for PvE damage. So spin the Structured Torn with web to deal over 1,250% damage. Again, not even maxed out on this character. I would not necessarily use this for PvP. You can replace this with whatever you feel comfortable with based off your build. Maybe even if you wanted to play around with this class, the Spider Wrap. None of these do a ton of damage, but it is a web shooter class skill, so you could again get an additional bonus from that. But when it comes to PvE and just an overall build, this is a skill I would recommend, because it does do a lot of damage, and you don't have a lot of AoE skills with Spider-Man, so this helps supplement that build just the slightest bit. Last but not least, I'm wrapping it up with Spider Sense Combat. It's a quick little skill, 11 second cooldown, a little bit high in the stamina at 21, but you rush the enemy. It's a great gap closer, if you will. Fires the web shooter at 668% damage, pushes back the attacked enemy and interferes with their movement. Great gap closer there. It's going to go ahead and do it for our Spider-Man build. I hope this has helped you. And again, I have not seen a lot of up-to-date Spider-Man builds out on the YouTubes, so I really hope that you find this helpful. And if it is different, let me know in the comments below from what you've seen in the past, from some of the other videos that I watch to do my research. This does vary just the slightest bit, so if this helps you, make sure you like it and let me know in the comments what hero you want to see next, because I do want to go ahead and spend the time to finish off all of the builds for the different heroes, because I have not been doing that. There's just been a lot of different content coming out. But make sure, if you haven't already, check out this video right here where I show you some of the worst mistakes that I made to my account so that you can make sure you don't make them, because some of them can really, really ruin your account, and it's worth taking a few minutes to watch this video. So go ahead and do that right now.